So what has changed here in the Canary Islands? An awful lot over the last couple of years. We're going to be discussing all of that today. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I am Andrew. I do live here in Los Cristianos in Tenerife. I've been here for 8 years now, and I do own a car rental business here. I'm also going to be meeting up today with a good friend of mine, John, who partly owns the Vault Bar here in Los Cristianos and also owns the rental license down on Paloma Beach. Now, John did write a fantastic article recently that was published in the local newspaper. As regards to that, what's changed? We've had COVID, we've got Brexit issues as well, we've got staff issues. All of those have played a big part in some big changes over here, which we're going to be discussing today with John. He's thankfully going to meet up with us and has agreed to come on the channel and discuss a few things with you all, and hopefully maybe help some of you out or find out more about what has changed with everything that's gone on. And so big thanks to John for doing that. I have got videos on the Vault Bar and also on Paloma Beach as well, so I'll leave those in the description so you can have a little watch of those. And also I will leave in the description John's article so you can have a good read through of what he said. It's basically a perfect storm. You've got staff issues, rent is crazy at the moment, short term and long term. So we're going to discuss all of those from another business owner here, and I thought his article was fantastic, so I asked him to come on the channel and he did agree, so big thanks to John. Let's head over to the Vault Bar. Perfect place to do it. Last time you'll have probably seen me in there. I've probably had a few drinks and got myself a little bit drunk in there, but we're going to chill, relax and have a little bit of a chat all about what has changed over here in the Canary Islands. We're in Tenerife, but you can apply this to all of the islands. It has all changed. I'm also going to discuss my views as well, what's changed for me first as a car rental business owner. I'm going to talk about what has changed in my opinion, and then we'll head in and have a chat with John as well. So what has changed for me in terms of the car rental since COVID? The main problem has been getting cars. Over here we've seen the price of new cars go up 30-40%, some of them much higher price than they used to be. But also for our industry as well, with there being such a short demand due to them trying to catch up with themselves, all these production lines have got a mountain of orders to get through. They have actually banned a lot of rent-a-cars and companies from buying cars. You can only get them as a private buyer. So that is the main thing I would say has changed the most for me personally with the business I have, is buying cars. The price of them has gone up massively. That has also impacted the second-hand market in the Canary Islands. Price of cars second-hand has also shot up. A lot of people who bought cars 3-4 years ago are selling them for the same price, if not more, 3 or 4 years down the line now at the moment. That's how much the market has changed. Also, we've seen the likes of garage rent, electricity go up as well, and generally some staffing issues for me, not so much, but I do know other businesses are struggling with staff. A lot of them did leave and go back to the UK, which we will discuss with John a little bit shortly. That was in his article. But for me, that is the main impact I've seen. That was mostly down to COVID stopping the production of cars, and then it has had a massive knock-on effect. The other slight change I have seen for me personally is I've seen a lot less people inquiring for cars to rent for 3 or 4 months at a time. We're seeing a lot more short-term inquiries or short-term rentals. A lot less of the people asking for 3 or 4 months over Christmas or 6 months. Do you do long-term? A lot less of that now, and it is mostly now more short-term. I do think that connects in with the 90-day rule. A lot of people can't come for the 4, 5, 6 months they used to come for and rent cars. They used to get like a monthly deal. That has mostly changed as well. Other than that, for my industry, that's mainly the changes that we've had. Increase in costs, which a lot of most businesses have had, but mainly the jump in the car prices is massive, and that is down to the COVID knock-on. We're going to head in now and speak to John at the Vault, talk all about his article and how his industry, his businesses have changed, because it depends what industry you're in, what business you've got. That is my case there. But we're going to go in and have a chat with him and see how he thinks it's changed for him. He's in the accommodation market and he's also in the hospitality market as well. So it'll be interesting to see his thoughts as well. So you now join us inside the Vault Bar with John. Now, if anyone who doesn't know John, he does, of course, as I mentioned, own the Vault Bar and also the rentals down at Paloma Beach.
Yeah, well, half of the Vault and Paloma Beach. Yeah, we've got the letting license on there, so yeah, that's what we do.
And you've been here you've grown up here?
Yeah, 35 years. I got here in 1987 with the family, and then yeah, still here now. Yeah.
Enjoying it still?
Well, yeah, I'm still here.
Still going?
Yeah.
Now, I did read the whole article that you did write, and I did enjoy it. It got quite a lot of views, quite a lot of comments.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
What made you write it? What made you want to do it?
It was just basically a culmination of things I'd linked together in my head and like, over time, and I thought I need to put this down. So I just wrote it one evening and sent it off to Chris at Canary Islands Weekly, just for a bit of feedback really. And I woke up and it was published. I was like, all right, cool.
It was already up online everywhere. You're getting messages and everything.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people did work out from the article that it was you.
Well, yeah,
people who knew you.
I wouldn't have minded if you'd put my name on it, to be honest. It just went up, so I was like, okay. So I think he just put that it was an anonymous person, but everyone knew it was me anyway, so it was kind of like,
What happens? So I'm going to ask you straight now. How do you think Brexit has changed Tenerife or Canary Islands in general?
I don't think there's anything like particularly massive that Brexit or any political decision is always going to be a lot of little changes that eventually creep up on you. You know what I mean? So there's not really something drastic, except probably the freedom of movement. That's the biggest one. Yeah. But the rest of the issues, we're not really going to know what they are yet until they rear their heads, But the biggest thing is the freedom of movement that has gone, obviously, and that has affected. See you later, mate. And that has affected the ability for companies to hire British people, which, all right, we've still got access to a massive amount of people from Europe. Yeah. But it's changed the face of bars, businesses over here. There's not the access to the British workforce anymore, except for the people that were already here before.
Yeah, because that was a big section of your article, was about employment when you advertised for staff at Paloma Beach, cleaners, bar staff.
Anything, yeah.
Do you find you get less applications or more applications because everyone's looking, or?
No, you get less applications. Basically, the pool of applicants has dropped because it used to be predominantly British. Yeah. And let's say you'd got like 10 applicants and like 2 were European and 8 were British. You've lost the British and you're left with this. There isn't more of these. There's the same amount as was before. Yeah. So instead of having this to deal with, you've got this. Yeah. And it means that it's a workers' market. If someone wants a job, they can pick and choose where they go and work. And you've really got to look for good people.
Because on the Facebook page, Gives a Job there in Tenerife on Facebook. Yeah. There's so many adverts now from different bars, restaurants. That seems to be the main industry looking, restaurants, bars.
Yeah, the service industry, Because, this is what the article was about. It was about that plus all the other problems that have contributed to it. Obviously when COVID happened, a lot of people who lived here, who were British, they went back to the UK because the support for them, the furlough scheme was literally 70% of your wage slip. Yeah. And a lot of people's wage slips wasn't actually what they were earning. Yeah. So you've got people on 20-hour contracts working 40 hours, getting paid for 40 hours, but 20 hours legal, 40 hours in cash. Yeah. And when they come to get the furlough, it's 70% of what's on their on their wage slip. So a lot of them, we lost all the British because they went back because they couldn't afford to survive on 70% of half their salary. Yeah. And now they've gone back to the UK and
very hard to move back.
Well, they've probably found jobs over there and they're happy and they're settled. They've got a house, they've got this, they've got a job, and they're thinking, well, I enjoyed it over there, but I'm happy here now. You know what I mean? So, and they're the ones that could come back because they'd still have the paperwork. But at the moment, there's not many of them that do. A lot of people I know have gone. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people around here. So they're not being replaced by other Brits.
No.
Like they used to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
you used to get a lot more seasonal workers for the bar work when it'd be busy in the summer, like at Veronica's. They used to come over for like 6 months, then go back.
Yeah.
Can't do any of that now.
No. Well, I imagine they probably still do, because a lot of them will just like do it and overstay, but then it's going to bite them on the butt down the line if they overstay the whatever it is, 90 days or whatever. So.
Because they are strict on that. They do stamp you in, stamp you out.
Yeah.
They don't for us. I showed that when you showed the resident card, they don't stamp us, but for the tourists, they're on it with the stamp straight away.
They are, yeah. And that slows down the queue there. So.
Well, that's a whole separate issue then, is the airport. And I know we have a good discussion about the new Brexit section of the airport there.
Yeah.
Down that end. It's quite... The way they've done it at the airport, they now sort of put all the British flights in the new terminal.
Not every time. That's the problem. They don't every time. So when I first got there, and the new section C, isn't it?
Yeah, C. It's a nice new building, and
And then a lot of people talking about the queue, and someone I think on one of your blogs put, well, just go straight through as soon as you get there.
Yeah.
But I've been there, and I've thought I'll go and do that, and then I've just gone to do it, and it says, oh, go to A. And then, so you can't actually plan. You can't go, I'm going to go to C. You've got to wait until you're told.
Because to get into that section, you've got to get the passport stamp, check your passport. And once you're through, it's nice, a little cafe there.
Sometimes it's open,
It's I quite like it through there. But like you say, if you go into C and then you're from A or B or whatever, you've got to come back out.
Yeah. And then it's going to be complicated.
But then I've also had that experience in August when I flew back. I knew where I was going. I was going into C. But the queue to get through into C through the passport stamp was so long that people that were in the airport missed my flight because they were still in that queue to get stamped to get into, and we just left without them.
Yeah, so, it's one of them, isn't it? What can you do?
Now I've got a few things written down to ask you that I want to discuss, but also only a couple of comments from our last video that when I mentioned I was going to do it.
Right.
I did say if they had any questions or anything.
Yeah.
So, do you think things will improve? Can you see agreements coming in for people to stay longer than the 90 days? The 90-day rule is killing off a lot of people being able to come over for the time they want to come.
I don't really know whether they will or they won't. I can't see any benefit to it.
No.
Because the people it affects most is swallows.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have as many swallows here, the accommodation would be more available to actual people who are going on holiday who aren't, just escaping the heating bills in the UK.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, with all due respect to the swallows and that, they're not the big spenders that the island probably wants. So I can't see them, being that bothered about it. Do you know what I mean?
No. Well, have you noticed a couple of changes maybe at Paloma Beach, people selling? And then you did mention in the article about El Medano as well.
Yeah.
People changing those licenses from long term to short term. Yeah. Cashing in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's two different aspects there. There's the I think people are selling because the owners that used to come out for October to Christmas and then January to end of March, who are technically swallows as well, they're no longer able to do that because of the 90 days. So we have noticed a lot of the owners beginning to what's the point if I can't come out that long? So they'll start coming on the market.
Yeah.
Basically, they ruined their own retirement dream.
Yeah.
If they voted for it, I don't know. So there's that aspect, and then there's the VV, where apartments can now get a VV license.
Yes, that's
and rent out anywhere.
The ones that would be long term, they can apply for that short term rental license.
I think it's a double-edged sword that they needed to do it because people were doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So rather than just have people doing it illegally, they legalised it, which is great because then everyone can do it. But now you get people buying residential properties, sticking a VV on it, and renting it out for $500-600 a week instead of $500-600 a month. So obviously it's great for them as an investor. You're like, oh great, I can make good money out of a really cheap property. But the flip side is that it cuts into the amount of property available for residents.
Yeah.
and then they get pushed out of town.
Yeah, I've seen more and more going further and further away.
Well, I saw a list the other day, €750 for a one-bed apartment per month in Gwaza.
And that's like, you'd need to drive or get the bus down here.
It's not the
and
best.
then, about 5-6 years ago, for that in Gwaza, you'd be looking at, what, 350?
Yeah. Well, you'd have got one bed in Los Cruces for 750. That would have been expensive.
Yeah.
And now you can't get one for much less than. If you got one for 8 or 850, you'd be laughing.
Yeah.
They just shot up because there's not many of them.
Yeah.
The pool of residential accommodation has gone down so much. So supply and demand, isn't it? Again.
Because I was reading on Facebook as well yesterday, people talking a lot about Los Gigantes. That seems to be quite a bit of a problem. A lot of people are selling up in Los Gigantes, getting out of there.
I don't know about that. Why is that?
A lot of building going on.
Right.
Very hard to park, but same reasons. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of it's now the people who used to live in Los Gigantes now feel a bit differently.
Yeah.
Changing those licenses as well.
Yeah, it will. Everything has an effect, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and eventually you see it. But at the beginning, whatever decision you make, you can't tell what it's going to be until it starts becoming a problem, and then you're like, maybe it was that.
So in terms of Paloma Beach, I have done a full video there, which I will leave in the description. If you want to check out Paloma Beach, you can stay there. Have you found it busy? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very busy now. It's almost at pre-pandemic levels again now. So, yeah.
And best way to book, direct?
Yeah. Just inbox the page on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or email us, or phone us, or go on our website and you can book it on there.
There used to be quite a few living on Paloma Beach.
Yeah.
A lot of them still there?
It's about, I'd say 20%. 20%.
What was it before COVID?
Before COVID? I don't think it's really changed on that. No. It seems to have stayed the same.
Stayed about the same.
Yeah.
But if you do want to come down to the vault, I will include those videos, and you can. A lot of people still doing the remote ordering.
Yeah.
Give them your table number. You can send it to your friends. Give them the table number, and they can order from home.
They can, which
I've
can
found
get messy.
on my live streams can get a wee bit.
You get your table pretty full, don't you?
Yeah. It's good fun, especially if you've got someone over here and your family's at home or whatever. They can buy you a drink.
I don't know how you ever get through them actually.
It's if you watch the videos, these tables are normally full of, and it's a whole mix. It's the mix part that normally finishes.
What are you like the next day after that?
Pretty delicate.
Yeah,
pretty delicate normally. I'm going to quickly read out a couple of your comments that you did comment on at one of the videos. Julia Williams says, I find it a pain with the 90-day rule, owning a property there and not getting residency. I struggle with counting the days. If I can't come, it means the property's empty for 6 months of the year. So I let my friends and relatives go just to make sure it's lived in and not empty.
Yeah.
I do hope in the future it will change, even if we have to pay to stay extra time over the 90 days. Mm-hmm. When I purchased 14 years ago, I thought when I retired, like you said, I'd be able to come and go as I please, but that is now not the case.
Yeah. Quite sad when you hear it, isn't it? It's like, I don't mean sad in like, I mean genuinely sad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Julia's bought her apartment there 14 years ago, and then it's when I retire, I can come and go and all that.
This is one of the problems with the decision to leave the EU. The people, I don't think people are really aware of it, or when they were told. I told a lot of people about this. I said, you're not going to be able to come and go as you used to, and all that. Oh yeah, we will. They'll sort something out. It's now how many years later, and there isn't anything sorted. And we don't know.
We haven't got driving license sorted yet.
Is that not? I thought it was.
I don't think it's still not done. As far as what I read.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that all these things take time. You're talking about trade negotiations, and when you do that between different countries, it takes years sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How long do they take? They literally do take a year, 2 years, and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll ever be sorted. The best thing they could do would be, if you want to keep, obviously Brexit's happened and all that.
Yeah.
But the best situation to resolve that is to just have freedom of movement again.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when you talk to people about freedom of movement, when it was put to the British people about it, they generally thought that it was a one-way street. That we'll be able to stop all the the foreigners coming in.
Yeah.
And they have the legal ones. You still get the illegal ones.
Yeah.
On the you know, Nigel Farage always going on about the guys in dinghies and stuff. Hasn't stopped that.
No.
So all they've stopped is the Spanish people being able to go over there and move to the UK, and French people going. And it's also stopped British people coming this way.
The other way.
So the best thing to do would be to reinstate freedom of movement. So you can actually come and stay in your apartment that you've bought and invested in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the biggest, it's people moving over, the stuff you have to go through, even if you can qualify to become a resident, the stuff to do it is ridiculous.
We've got a friend who lived here before, went back to the UK, married a guy, came back over here. She's fine, she's got all the paperwork. He's not allowed to come over, he's had to apply for a visa. And they're still going through it now. They're waiting for a decision now. It's taken over a year. So he's here now. He's now allowed to stay over 90 days. It's a family repatriation visa. And he's been here now for a few months, and he's not allowed to work. He can come and go as he wants, but he can't get a job.
Because there's a few different ways you can come in. A lot of people going down the route of if you've got Irish family, you go and get your Irish passport. There's the one to do if you've got a certain amount in the bank, which is a massive amount. If you invest in property,
or something like that.
Over 600,000, I think it was, in property. But it's difficult compared to when I moved over 8 years ago.
Well, I mean,
the only aggro was hanging out at the police station early morning a few times.
Well,
that was about it.
That's the problem, isn't it? You can still come. You can still do what you want if you're loaded. Or if you can get offered a job. That's the other thing as well. You have to be offered a job to come here.
Is the sponsor?
The company has to sponsor you, and like, so they've got to look after you. Well, they've got to do the application process for you. Now, who's going to do that for a waitress job?
I've heard a lot of people saying they're going to, but I never see it materialise.
You've got to prove to the Spanish government why this person is going to be an asset to Spain and the EU, and why you're not employing someone from the EU. And how can you justify that?
For like a
job in the service? You can't justify it. No. And who's going to go through the aggro? It's going to take 3 months, 6 months. What? You need someone now. You know what I mean? You can't be waiting months and months and hoping that they're going to come through. Because, like, I mean, the person you're doing it for might go, nah, I've thought about it, and it's taking too long. I'm just going to stay in England. Do you know what I mean? Then you're like,
you've gone through all of that. You paid your Hestor.
And how do you even interview them? You're going to do a virtual interview and hope that they're as nice in person. It's, you know. It's aggro, isn't it?
So they would be the main changes then, staff being one of them. People not being able to stay the 90 days, I think that's the biggest, the 90 day.
I would say so.
Because people on our complex used to come end of September right through to the end of March.
They need to get that calculator out, the Schengen calculator and all that.
Now they've got to sit and really add it up. And then any others that you'd say have affected?
Can't think of any at the moment.
It's tough because you've got the COVID effects as well in with it all.
It's a mixture of that was the point of the article. It wasn't just one thing. It was several factors that have all culminated in this sort of nightmare scenario. Not as a complete nightmare, but it's difficult. Slightly more difficult scenario than normal.
There's a lot of disappointed people there, especially property owners, I think.
Well,
is there any points where you'd say, well, Brexit has actually helped with anything or benefited?
There's an absolutely massive list of benefits for Brexit, such as...
for here specifically? For Canary Islands?
For everywhere. For example... No, it's gone.
Other than that, there's not a huge amount of change that's been positive over here?
No, I mean, if you're thinking of it like in a selfish way, I suppose, like, for me at Paloma, it's probably been good. It's good for me because I've got more access to apartments because the owners can't come out as much. But that's
not going to outweigh the negatives at the moment.
No, I mean, it does for me, but it doesn't for them. But maybe they should do something where the people who voted for it have to do the 90 days, and pay the extra tax on the rent. The tax went up as well for non-EU.
Yeah.
So EU residents get charged, I think, 21% tax, and non-EU is 24%. So they should do something where look at what you voted for and then apply that accordingly. Then people who voted Remain can come for more than 90 days.
Let us know your thoughts on that in the comments.
Go and say please.
But then we're also going to have that EU visa that we're going to have to apply. People are going to have in a few years.
Yeah.
You're going to have to need a little EU visa that'll last a couple of years, but you'll need it to come over here, and that's another headache.
And what, can you come for more than 90 days? Is that?
No.
Oh.
It's just like a registration
Oh.
fee. It's just another headache that you're going to have to fill in before you.
Sounds like more bureaucracy and red tape. I thought we got rid of all that.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. But I think overall, that's mostly what I wanted to discuss, really. I am going to leave in the description that full article so they can read through. Is there anything else we've missed? Or?
No, I think we covered all points, I think.
Yeah. If you do want to rent an apartment, of course, I will leave the video and you can check it out. Do contact John if you want looking for a good bar in Los Chris. Come down. You've got burgers, you've got breakfasts in here now. Still need to try the breakfast.
Yeah, I had one the other day. It's actually really good.
Yeah, the lady here was having a breakfast for lunch with a coffee.
That's the way, isn't it?
It did look nice, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised myself. I don't know why I was surprised. I was like, but that's a really good breakfast. Yeah.
It does look nice, and the coffees look good as well. So I will come and vlog that at some point.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for your time, John.
No worries, mate.
Enjoyed it.
And
I will leave it in the description so you can have a little read of the article. It was well written.
Yeah, thank you.
And let us know your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be some people going mad, some people enjoying it.
Well, the important thing is it's happened, hasn't it? You can't change it. Maybe it will change in the future.
For the people coming on holiday short term, it doesn't really affect them at all at the moment.
No,
it's the 90-day, long term, the swallows,
it's one of them things. You know, if you make a big political change, then there's going to be consequences because that's what you voted for. You wanted change, so there is going to be change.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, or whether it's what you thought was going to happen, we don't know, do you, until it happens. But
I'd like to hope at some point there will be an agreement for more staff to come over. Everywhere's looking, everywhere's struggling.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that but if they did that, it would be a reciprocal agreement, presumably, between both parties. So England and Spain, they go, can we send over Spanish people over there? Yep, bring some English over here. So that would be the answer, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I can't see many Spanish wanting to go and live in the rain.
No, probably not. They like it, some of them.
Yeah.
But what we're discussing there is essentially freedom of movement.
Yeah.
So
it all comes down. It's
we'll
going to be
get back to that.
There's going to be some interesting comments.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much for watching. Please do give it a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments your thoughts. I'll leave all the links and everything in the description and in the comments box as well, so you can check them out. And that's it. I might enjoy a little. Is that bell ringing yet? Little shot for the road.
Not yet. Not yet. You didn't share it.
I did that for a reason.
Thank God.
Bye guys. Stride on.
See you later.